this is something we do as human beings, right? Like, we will have so many things that happen to us which are good or positive, or we benefit from it. We let it go. That one negative thing happens, we'll hold on to that.
Yeah, gosh.
We just are so designed to hold on to one. Like 10 people will say good things about you, not like the best things, but they'll say something which is kind, or which is generous, or which is appreciative of who you are. But you'll only hold on to that one person who said something nasty, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, that motherfucker, yeah, I'm gonna, you know?
Yeah, but still, like, why is this not happening?
Yeah.
Or why is that not working?
You know, you hear so much stuff being spoken about constantly about comfort zone, no? And getting out of your comfort zone. But I actually had a thought about comfort and its opposite, which is discomfort, you know? Because when you're very comfortable, say for instance, right, when you're eating 5 meals a day or 3 meals a day, or everything you consider in life is coming easy, there is something which I wouldn't say doesn't drive you, but you kind of get less from it, like the enjoyment you get from it. Because I feel if you do things within yourself which are a little cause for discomfort, then you're able to kind of look at life and take more comfort from smaller things. But when you seek larger and larger comforts from the external sources, it causes more and more discomfort within. Does that make sense? Something as simple as you really like eating, right? And you eat 3-4 meals a day, but you indulge in a lot more food from outside, or richer food, or sweets, or desserts. You don't feel good within. So when we pursue this idea of what is sold to us as comfortable living, the discomfort within grows.
So you're saying the comfort of the ability to eat outside food, and that being
Or anything
comfortable
which
living.
is seen as comfortable, or when comfort becomes a luxury, then you pursue the next level of luxury, which then becomes the comfort.
I don't know if I would call it comfort. Like, comfort to me means, let's do an Kiwi plugin, is this is a Kiwi. And for me, it's like how the fabric feels against your skin. How comfortable you are in what you're wearing is something that is extremely important to me. Comfort doesn't mean like buying a brand, even though that's sold to me,
That's what
right?
I'm saying. What is sold to the public idea of comfort, one person's comfort is another person's aspiration or luxury, right? I'm talking about that, like, because comfort zone is always said, yeah, like it's always sold to you from an idea of if you're doing the same job and you're happy with the salary, that you're comfortable.
Yeah.
But I'm going beyond that. I'm talking about your internal comfort and discomfort versus the external sources of comfort and discomfort. Like, for many people, meeting strangers is a cause for discomfort, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about when you look at yourself within, when you do things to comfort yourself. Typically, we use other things to comfort ourselves, external things, right? Maybe drugs or alcohol or so many other things. But I'm saying if you look at your own body and your own state of being and kind of figure out a balance of comfort and discomfort, then you're able to face external sources of comfort and discomfort much more
Balanced.
Yeah, you're able to take it in your stride.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing because if we don't want discomfort within us, right? We don't want to feel that. But the strange thing is external sources of comfort can cause internal sources of discomfort. But internal sources of discomfort can give you strength to face external discomfort much better.
So let's go into an example because it can.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
I'm
obviously-
just exactly. That's why I want to think it through while speaking about it, because it's not as simple as when I first mentioned it.
Yeah.
Because, say for instance, what causes discomfort, right? Like you'd love to.
Going up on stage and talking is discomfort.
No, I'm talking. That's again external, but I'm talking about, let's start internal, right? Some days, I was talking to Vishnu about this. Just, some days you want to wake up, or rather, you wake up more fresh, and then there's this thing of like, people would say, get out of your comfort zone. So you have to hit the gym, or you have to do the 10K which you promised yourself. So my point is, if we can kind of appreciate that some days you might want to sleep in. You might not have the luxury all the time of sleeping in because you might have commitments, but some days you might just jump into the pool, or some days you might just have a cup of coffee, or some days you might just go for a walk. I'm saying,
So does it mean that you have an awareness and listening to your body
yeah, that's what
more
yeah.
than what you're supposed to be doing?
We have this fixation on, and I catch myself doing this some days, right? When I'm, say, I hit the cross trainer and I want to do 25, 30 minutes at whatever pace I choose to. In my head, instead of enjoying that 30 minutes, I'm like, I'm going to do this every day from now on.
Or you're like, shit, this is not enough distance.
Yeah, I'm going to push
I've
myself
covered.
harder next time. Yeah. Why do we do that? Because in the process, we don't enjoy that one. And the next time we try to do it, we're like, oh my God, I have to be better than the last time, or do it more often.
You know, something that is really relevant to this point, and that is happening for me internally, I mean, at this point, is like, say, for example, Ikivi does X amount of sales in a month, right? I'm like, is this good enough? Or should I be doing more? Not from like, do I need more money to, like, do I need to make more money as a business or not? But it's more like, is this good in the industry? Are other e-commerce businesses doing this much in sales? Like, I almost need to know what that is, and not really looking at what I want and what I want to do.
But imagine if you approach that from your own, after kind of evaluating or appreciating your own internal comfort, discomfort, dialogue, or balance, if you want to call it. Wouldn't you be able to kind of arrive at a conclusion quicker than if you were off balance within?
Maybe. Because maybe I'm feeling there is some amount of insecurity, or there's some amount of comparison, or there's some amount of feeling less than other people, or something like that, that's still not yet fully in balance or whatever. It's not something that I'm unaware of. Of course, I'm aware of it and I catch myself.
It's not easy,
here
of
and
course.
there.
You can't
It's
arrive
not
at
easy,
balance.
but I
Yeah.
feel like because of that, I still catch myself comparing. Like, that's why I'm still looking at it. Of course, whenever I think of that, I'm trying to pull myself away from it. But like, if you are talking to people who are like, say, consultants for your business or something like that, and they say, oh, this is how much return you get on, how much you're going to spend or whatever it is. But in my head, my next question is that enough? Like,
Yeah.
is that normal? Is that industry standard? Should I be looking to do more?
One thing I've come to sort of appreciate is that anything external can, of course, be appreciated. It's lovely to have external comforts, if you're talking about it, or even in your case, to do well as a business is lovely, right? No doubt about it. It'll give you more opportunities. It'll give you more avenues to explore. It'll give you more tools for growth. No doubt about it. But my point is, I feel we've come to a place where we mainly are operating from that external ecosystem, where the comforts are external, the discomforts are external, and I think it only takes you so far in that journey, because you've kind of then, if you want to talk about your the things that give you comfort, right? Whether it's traveling by a certain class of travel, or whether it's a certain mode of transport, whether it's a certain destination for a holiday, or it's a certain home you live in. These are all signs of comfort, right? And then when we apply the discomfort, it's like, oh, you know what, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. But what if we change that from, if I'm going to do things that are for myself, which, sometimes maybe eat clean, or whatever your idea of not eating indulgently are, or maybe, listen to your body and say, today I need to put in more work for discomfort, like whether it's exercise more, or whether it's more.
No, I mean, even if it's in like this, doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Earlier, if it was 5 years ago when we started talking about it, I would have been like, oh my God, what are we going to talk about? Plan it, schedule something. Like it would be a lot more complicated because I was not comfortable doing this in front of a camera. But now it's over the years of putting yourself out there that has made us reach the stage where we're super comfortable in front of the camera, right? Like you as well for your own path. So like sometimes
Yeah.
you do have to push yourself a little bit into that uncomfortable space, no?
Yeah. So I see that
And
they
then you'll
both.
find that balance within. Like you keep finding a different kind of balance as you go along.
I think I rely more on, I'm trying to appreciate the internal kind of back and forth, because I feel that's more in sort of a space where I can kind of appreciate it, as opposed to the external stuff, which I don't have as much control over. And the external stuff kind of tends to either disappoint you or overwhelm you at times, because it's a lot of times other people's comforts which are imposed on you. Because I was just thinking, the past 15-year journey of like starting stand up, doing it for the longest I've done anything, and then taking a break, a significantly large break, and then radio in the middle, couple of podcasts in between, and working on this book. And I'm just like, you wait for the big win, and if it doesn't come, you feel and you feel like, I've taken myself out of my comfort zone. What I never thought I'm going to sit and, work with someone on a book. It was very uncomfortable visiting the past, talking of those things. But discomfort, getting out of your comfort zone doesn't always pay. I'm like, I could have just tried getting another radio gig if they would take me, and just get that comfortable thing, because it would be predictable, it would be safe, it could be something which would give me utmost comfort. But I didn't do it. The podcast was also very uncomfortable. So I did uncomfortable things, but the reward that they say you might get is not always there. But if I can take small little situations within me, which are a kind of balancing act of comfort and discomfort, it's a lot more, it's not, maybe not as significant as a big win in life, but it gives you the strength when you do these smaller things over the course of time.
Yeah, and I think we sometimes forget to value those smaller things
Yeah.
so much more.
The smaller wins or the smaller losses,
Yeah.
because if we can't handle the smaller wins and smaller losses, then when the big wins and big losses come, we're really taken by surprise and
Yeah.
off balance.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing with life is it's not just about the bigger stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the smaller
It's not
things
at
on a
all.
day-to-day
Yeah.
basis that make it. Like I was talking to a friend the other day about how much, like you say again with a business, like starting something and it's been running for 6 years or 7 years or whatever. And there's so much that has changed from when you started to where you are right now, that we end up celebrating whatever those wins are, even if it's a big win, for just that 1 day or 2 days. And then we're again focusing on like, shit, but
The
we're
next
not
goal.
here, but we're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
there. Like even with nursing Shasa, right? It was 2.5 years, almost 2.5 years of nursing her. And it was so difficult through those 2.5 years. But I'm so proud of doing that. But like I celebrate, and then I weaned her by myself, which is another big win.
Yeah.
And doing it gently and not giving her any emotional discomfort at all. And I celebrated it for 1 or 2 days. And then I'm like, but actually, there's so much more. Like, I feel it every day. And you should feel more and more, feel good about those things,
Yeah.
no? Instead of being like, yeah, but she's still like cranky or some shit, right? Like, I'm not saying she is, but like something like that. Like,
Or
you'll
not
always
even-
go back to something that is not working.
But that's the weird part. It's sometimes not even on the same plane you compare. You might be like, what?
Yeah.
You should be appreciative of how much you've done. Instead, you're like, oh, but why aren't sales higher? Like, they're not even connected.
Yeah.
So that's the thing we kind of do. And this is another thing, again, Vishnu makes an appearance in this. He's like,
You should do a podcast with him only.
he doesn't want to.
You asked.
I asked.
What?
Way long back, not now. Not now. But yeah, sometimes you don't have to do a podcast for everything. You can talk to some people, And this is something we do as human beings, right? Like, we will have so many things that happen to us which are good or positive, or we benefit from it. We let it go. That one negative thing happens, we'll hold on to that.
Yeah, gosh.
We just are so designed to hold on to one. Like 10 people will say good things about you. Not like the best things, but they'll say something which is kind, or which is generous, or which is appreciative of who you are. But you'll only hold on to that one person who said something nasty, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, that yeah, I'm going to,
Yeah, but still, like, why is this not happening,
Yeah.
or why is that not working?
So that's where I feel this need to kind of just be childlike in some way, right? Where, okay, today you wake up, you're like, you know what, I'll just go. I feel like going and jumping in the pool or,
It's also to do with your close people that you interact with on a day to day basis. Like, say, for example, I come to you and I'm like, I'm so happy with this. And if you're not supportive of that, and you're like, yeah, it's good, but you're not as excited, then you're like, you'll think to yourself if you're probably not secure enough or something.
true,
I
but
don't
that
know.
also comes from a place of your internal that thing.
Exactly. So then
Because
you'll
then
be
it
like,
doesn't matter, right? If you're, see, again, you're looking at external and how that
yeah,
influences you. But
yeah.
if you're internally I mean, I'm as much to this thing, right? Because when I'm, I'm thrilled to be on the golf course, right? It's amazing that I took that decision, and I'm just should be glad that I made that decision and I got on there. It wasn't easy at all. Hitting a golf ball you can't see is tough. And I took 3 years of range time. I've got there. I've gone through different rounds with different caddies who helped me. And still, I'll, of course, have so many people coming and saying, dude, it's so good to see you on the course and what you're doing is inspirational. I'm like, oh, whatever, thanks. But then someone will say something
Yeah.
and that will stick with me. I'm like, why?
No, but then I feel like as in a relationship, like between us or whatever, if we consciously make an effort to whatever that person is happy with, support them, no
Yeah.
matter what, because that person clearly needs some
Yeah, yeah,
support externally to so that it happens over and over and over again, and then finally you will feel like that.
True, absolutely.
Like,
I think that's
for
the least you can
example,
ask from your
yeah,
husband or
but
wife.
like
Yeah.
I feel like that happens with my dad as well. Like ever when I was growing up or through EKV over the 9 years, like you'll feel like shit. Okay, it's 9 years, like shit hasn't happened or whatever. But it's still like, one small thing happens. Say you get an order for, I don't know, $2,000 or something, and then you're like, yeah, but it's still not doing this,
Yeah.
right? And then he's like, no, but it's this. Like if he
Someone can
constantly
help
goes
you
on
point that
telling
out.
me,
Yeah, yeah.
telling me that, now I'm like, actually, yeah, it
No,
is
in
a
that regard,
lot.
I think when someone can help you recognize those small wins
Yeah.
or recognize or give you a moment to pause to appreciate the small good things happening, you need that.
You need
Because otherwise
that.
we are so conditioned to only wait for that big win and hold on to that loss or hold
Yeah.
on to that negative thing that someone said going, oh, but you did only this much sales, you know how much this
Yeah.
startup made?
You don't
Because
need.
we're only kind of trying to look for that, or like, oh, you didn't get a par or whatever, right? It could be to each person's life example. We could have so many of these various situations happening to us as we speak.
Yeah.
But this is something which I really want to take notice of, because living childlike in so many ways, people think that, oh, that means you have no responsibilities. You're going to be, literally the things they mock about children, right? Which is no discipline, throwing tantrums. But there are so many beautiful things about children, which is the appreciation of like taking, the smallest things and taking like, wow, that's a bird. Like, I'm not saying we have to go at a bird going, wow, right? But I'm saying we can take that same approach.
Yeah.
And even like applying structure, going, oh, I ran once today, I'm going to run 10 times this month, I'm going to add this much more. Why do we need to? Like when we feel like doing
Yeah, but
something,
it's-
can't we just do it?
Yeah, but it's so hard. Like,
It is hard. No one's saying any of these things are easy.
no, but I'm saying, like, if you,
But can we get to a place where it's easier than today?
I think we can.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like a
Like
little
we
bit
always look
more.
at these things black and white. Like today it's easy, tomorrow it's not. Or today it's so difficult, tomorrow it's not. I think a cousin of mine told me a very nice way of looking at it. He's like, see, man, if you have anger issues, right? And 10 times if you yelled at someone, but the next time it's 9 times, recognize that you did it 1 time less, as opposed to like, why am I not doing, why am I not able to not do it at all, We can't arrive at something so quickly. These things go 1 step forward, come back 3 steps. So they are, attempts you're making, which you should also appreciate.
Yeah. And I feel like, I think the focus should be on more on like connecting with yourself
Yeah.
and what you want to do as opposed
Exactly what I
to.
said about the internal thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but like on a day to day basis with daily things.
With daily things, within day things also, right? Like if, and appreciate the comforts that we do have as opposed to taking it for granted for bigger comforts.
Yeah.
Like, I think if we are appreciative of, oh wow, instead of saying, oh, I had lunch. You know what happens otherwise, when you're having breakfast, you're like, okay, have I got my protein? Have I got my fiber? Okay, by the time you eat that, you're already thinking about lunch and stressing about, I got enough protein today, I need more carbs because I'm running in the afternoon. Or that, you forget to eat and enjoy that, or forget to
Enjoy that
exercise.
meal.
Yeah.
So going back to childlike things, right? Like with Shasa, you see so much of that, and I feel like that has been maybe
Yeah.
a big awareness even for you because you're bringing this topic
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Is that she does not throw tantrums for simply. Like children don't necessarily throw tantrums simply, right? Like there is something that she wants to do that she's not able to do. But if you let her, if you're in the moment with her, and if you're connecting with her on that level,
Okay.
huh?
Yeah.
She kind of is so much more vibrant, so much
Yeah.
more innate. Like
As
this,
opposed to if you were trying to determine
like
her
whip her into doing something
based on your
else.
timeline.
Yeah,
It
like,
doesn't
oh my
work.
God,
Yeah.
quickly, Shasa, come on, we have to do this.
Yeah.
She'll 100% throw tantrum.
Correct.
Like if you just go with her flow, everything is smooth.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
While you mention, of course, another thing which is I find beautiful is Jinky, our dog, right? Dude, she's been a pup. She's been, or like 1 year old. She's been having the same thing, chicken, ragi, vegetables for like 2 meals now, 1 meal a day or whatever, right? She wags her tail every time she eats that same damn boring food.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, amazing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I think this is one thing which we can talk about at length because I think it's something I don't have, but I want to work on. I think it's a really essential way to appreciate your own life more is patience.
Yeah.
And it's something which is so difficult because the same thing you mentioned about Shasta is if you're waiting for something to happen to you in your life, like a big job or a big win or a big recognition or for something to click, you're not patient. I mean, you're constantly frustrated, right? And then you're not able to kind of enjoy the other things in life because you're waiting for that text to come. I mean, and it could be stupid things. You might not even get that job offer, that email which you're waiting for like that book to get endorsed. It's not going to happen. You're constantly restless and you're not able to be with the other person, whether it's a 2-year-old who wants your full time or whether it's even with your husband or your wife who wants to talk to because you're constantly checking your phone. And the ability to be distracted under the guise of being productive is the highest we ever are.
Yeah.
Whether it's like, is the reel doing well? Or is the podcast doing well? Is it how many views? I'm like, doesn't matter from the last 2 hours I checked. It's not going to change my life.
Yeah.
Even if it gets 1 million, nothing's going to happen today.
Immediately.
But we are not at all patient about those things. We are constantly in a moment of distraction to another moment of distraction.
Yeah.
And it's the greatest time for distractions. And then we tell our child, why are you so distracted?
Yeah.
It's so stupid, right?
Yeah. Like sometimes I've noticed that's with work and stuff, but like with Shasa, patience is the only way to be at ease with her. Of course, it's so frustrating. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, how irritating or how boring this thing is, right? Like if she's putting her doll to sleep, okay, and that's all she's doing for 10 minutes, and you have to go somewhere or you have to do something else. It's so irritating. But I've caught myself like if I'm patient with her, everything else goes smoothly. But if I'm irritated with her and I'm like, come on, Chasa, let's go, whatever, she's cranky and then 100 and things happen.
You know, the other day I was not like I have that much important work going on for me right now, but that day I was deleting emails, like the most stupid things that you can do, right? It had gone on for 3 weeks, I hadn't deleted emails, I was clearing and then she came and she's like, what are you doing? I'm doing something on the computer. And then she started pawing the mic and she's like, I want to talk on the mic. And I was like, oh. Part of me was like, started getting irritated. Then I was like, you know what, dude? It's effing emails, man. It's gone unchecked or undeleted. Let it go undelete another 2 hours or another day. So I put it on my lap and I sent you that little recording we did together.
Yeah, hey, we should add that maybe to this.
Yeah, we can
episode.
Maybe, I'll send it to Jyotin, can copy paste here. And
it's such a cute recording. It's an audio recording, so we'll
figure out. We can just be sitting. Do your magic, Jyotin. We can give you 30 seconds of pause to insert over here. Good morning. Welcome to the podcast with my co-host. What's your name?
Shasa.
What's your full name?
Shashtank Rao.
All right, so that's Shasta Tanisi Rao reporting live, and I'm Sandeep Rao. And who am I, Shasta? You're?
My daughter.
I'm your daughter.
Yeah.
And you are my? I'm your appa.
Yeah.
What's my name?
Appa.
Hey, my name is Appa.
No name. Sandeep.
Oh, Sandeep what?
Sandeep Rao.
Oh my God, that's
And Sandeep Amma.
Sandeep Amma.
Yeah.
What's Sandeep Amma's name?
Sandeep.
No. What is your Amma's name?
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Welcome to our podcast. It's called the Shasa and Soapy Podcast. What are we going to talk about on this podcast? Okay, talk about that, eh? Just taking that time to do that with her,
Yeah.
I don't know what she benefited from, but I really benefited from it, you know.
Yeah.
I felt so thrilled.
Yeah. But I think it's like all of that is what connection is. All
Yeah.
of that is what
And
life is about.
All it
no?
took was a second for me to just step back from my so-called, need to do something, or this so-called, you need to be productive under, the guise of distraction.
Yeah.
Just have to pause. And it doesn't happen all the time, but if I can appreciate that one time it happened,
Yeah.
it's a big
like the other
step
thing
forward.
she did yesterday, and she clearly is teaching me and you so much about patience. It's not funny.
Yeah.
But like yesterday, I was having dinner with her. I mean, she was eating pasta and she wanted a glass of water, and there was something else in her plate. Something else. I forget it. And she pours the water, starts picking one by one, picking the pasta and putting it in her glass of water. And then I took away some so that I could feed her the rest. And so only part of it is like she's playing with it. Then she takes that whole glass with pasta and the water and pours it into a bowl. And then half the water fills. And immediately I'm like, what are you doing? Then I'm like, but she's just playing. Like, if we're cleaning one drop of water, might as well clean more, no? So like you kind of build on that patience. But then what I am finding difficult is when I see other people losing patience with her.
Yeah, and that's
But can
something
you-
for me, it's like I take your lead, which is always helpful for me. And you always tell me, if I don't react, you don't react. Because especially the visual cues, right? You're like, if she's in danger, of course, we will, be
Yeah.
there to make sure she doesn't do anything to hurt herself.
But if it's not the end of the world.
Exactly. Like if she's going to drop a
Glass.
cushion or a glass or something. I mean, of course, if it's a glass, then the glass piece might hurt her. Otherwise, it's like, okay, it's going to make noise. But when you're not there, I take my cues from the other people at home. And usually people are like, what are you doing? What's wrong with... And I'm like getting worked up inside, but I
Yeah.
don't know what they're reacting to.
What she's actually doing. But it
Yeah.
could be as simple
So it's
as
a harder exercise for
sweeping
me.
the floor.
And this is where this balance thing comes in, right? If I'm able to kind of figure out the comfort, discomfort, and I'm not saying I'll ever be at a place of peace when I'm approaching every life situation. Okay?
Yeah,
Every
it
moment
won't
changes.
happen, like-
But if I'm there a little more than I am now, at some moments, I won't react as quickly. And even patience comes as reacting, right?
Yeah.
You can take some time to react. And of course, not when she's going to like put a hand near an electric socket that you need to have reaction time. You can't be like, patience, let's see what happens.
No, but if you just take one extra breath, no, and then you're like, because then what happens is if you get anxious about that, then it just, your whole system
It
gets
spirals.
all out
Yeah.
of
And then your
whack.
response comes from a place of fight, of
Yeah.
flight. And you're going to respond more like, don't do that. As opposed like, hey,
Yeah.
that's it. Like, oi is a great parenting tool. Just like, oi. As opposed like, hey. That Indian thing is, hey. As opposed, oi.
What is oi?
Oi is just, it's a cooler way of saying, hey. Hey is like, I'll beat you up. Oi is like, oi.
Oh, gosh.
Your little thing. So, anyhow,
Yeah.
this was fun.
Yeah.
So, on that balanced ending, we
Let's go
stuck
eat
that
some
landing.
lunch. Yeah.
Thanks, as always, for joining us on these episodes. We have fun because we know that you guys are at the other end, listening to us. Even if you don't engage with us, we don't feel bad. It's fine. But
We're balanced.
We're balanced. Yeah, we don't
External
wait for
validation.
external validation or influences. We're not coveting your patronage. But anyhow, it would be nice if we hear from you
And if
occasionally.
you like, share, subscribe.
So we know that we're not just shooting shit into the ether, waiting for the algorithm to pick it up. Hello, Shasa, you want to say something to your fans listening to you across the world? Yeah, we love the fact that you listen to us. Shasa's incredibly happy that she's got such a huge fan following, and she's looking forward to many more live appearances. Isn't that right, Shasa?
Yeah.
So, what do you think we should tell our fans to do? Should we ask them to like, subscribe, or should we ask
Who's
them?
that doggy?
I don't know, baby.
Who's that doggy?
All right. Looks like that's the attention span for today's episode.
Who's that doggy?
Okay, say good night, goodbye, take care, see you soon to our audience.
Appa, who's that
Can you say
doggy?
goodbye?
Goodbye.
Good night,
Good night.
take care,
Take care.
peace.